It is 12 noon on the dot. I want to also go live on TikTok, but I think I am going to be. All right, just had to mute myself on YouTube because it will play at the same time. Is the life insurance a scam? Let's talk about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and record thing. Let's record it to the cloud, although it'll be recorded on the YouTube. But anyway, that is neither here nor there. Let me see if TikTok is going to make me change my phone. I know I'm sideways and upside down on TikTok. I actually need to change the title, or maybe I don't. So the title of this video is life insurance a scam? I know I am upside down or backwards on TikTok, but it is what it is. Charge my phone. And it looks like it's decharging at this time. That ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work. I have sinuses, y'all. I have sinuses. We're talking about is life insurance a scam? I'm trying to figure out how to kill two birds with one stone. Say, when it comes to my phone, sure. How successful I'm going to be. We are going to get started though. We are absolutely going to get this thing started. Can I set this like that? I'm over here rigging stuff. We call it nigga rigging, right? Let me see. Really trying to make this work. All right. Few technical difficulties. I think I've gotten that together. I'm going to put the top on my water so I don't spill my water. And I'm going to grab my tea that I made for myself. Is life insurance a scam? Is the conversation that we're talking about today. If you have questions or comments, feel free to key in, type in, bam, boom. There is a lot of information that's going on out here and around here. And really, what I'm going to do is just share my screen and talk about the different types of life insurance. We're going to talk about why an individual would get life insurance, why people shouldn't have life insurance. Let's talk about it. I just want to clear some things on my screen, but let's talk about life insurance. And if you have questions about life insurance, drop your questions in the chat. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, feelings, concerns about life insurance, go ahead and drop them in the chat. If you think it's a scam, if you don't think it's a scam, whatever the case may be sure to press the like button. Be sure to press the follow button if you are not following me. I am also streaming this on my YouTube channel. You can find me at Jamesia Jonay, the Wealth Creator. But let's talk about it. I'm going to go to my whiteboard so you all won't get any visuals. No, not my nail polish chips. You all won't get any visuals on TikTok. However, be sure to follow me. Let's talk about it. Let's get educated. I will bust out my whiteboard on another day on TikTok to discuss these topics. I just polished my nails and one of my nails chips. So let me make sure my seems like a delay on my YouTube channel, but I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm just now wiping my nose on YouTube. Double trap, show some love, get some hearts going. It absolutely costs you nothing to double tap and show some hearts. Unfortunately, it is a delay. Even if you don't plan on staying, um, even if you don't plan on staying, discussing if life insurance is a scam, absolutely ask your questions about it. If you have questions, comments, concerns about life insurance, let's talk about it. We are going to discuss the reasons why you should not get life insurance, the different types of life insurance, the best times to get life insurance. Double tap that screen for my TikTok people. Show some love, get some hearts going. Even if you don't plan on staying, it doesn't cost you. So, life insurance a scam? Reasons why you shouldn't get life insurance, different types of life insurance, the best times to get life insurance. And we'll also have time for Q&A. I'll be here, I would say, for about the next 45 minutes or so. I do have a 1 o'clock call. Double tap the screen for me on TikTok. Show some love, get some hearts flowing. Even if you don't plan on staying, it costs you nothing to double tap the screen and share a heart. And I'm gonna try to be as still as I can until my 1 o'clock appointment. So my nails, I polish my nails. Okay. Reasons why you should not get life insurance, right? So, reasons why you should not get life insurance, why you shouldn't have your own policy. And actually, before I do that, let me take a step back. Who am I? I am Jamesia Jonah. I show people how to use other people's money to pay their mortgage, create cash flow, protect their assets, having some little difficulties around here. Born and raised on the west side of Chicago, was told go to school, get good grades, get a degree to get a good job, did all of that. I have a bachelor's degree as well as a master's degree. Started working, I've worked in corporate, for-profit, nonprofit organizations, and in 2017 decided to become a real estate professional. Also in 2017, I was laid off from a nonprofit job or let go, which is funny. They did lay me off. So these companies that lay you off when they have another opening, they're supposed to let you come back. If you are watching on TikTok, double tap, show some love. If you are here on YouTube, press the like button, ask a question, engage. There is a delay on YouTube based on my end, what I see, although I am streaming live. You all are a little bit behind, but became a realtor, had more motivation to become a realtor at that time because I was laid off from my job. And about 2 years after that, I was introduced to the financial services industry. My goal is I have married life insurance and real estate, helping people purchase, protect, and pass down their homes. I always had a goal to help people purchase, protect, and pass down their homes, but partnering in the life insurance industry allowed me to leverage my current book of clients and really be able to do that past the education. So before I became licensed as a life insurance agent, I was referring my clients out to life insurance agents to be able to help them protect their greatest asset, right? Which leads right into the reasons why you should not get life insurance. You shouldn't get life insurance if your life is of no value to anyone, right? If your life and health, let me say that, if your life and health is of no value to anyone, you should not get life insurance, right? If nobody depends on you, including yourself, for your livelihood, maybe you shouldn't get, and I'm talking to adults, maybe you shouldn't get life insurance, right? You shouldn't get life insurance if you don't plan to die. You have no you don't plan to die. You're going to live forever. You are forever young. You are going to live forever. Okay. You are going to live forever. You don't need life insurance. You know, you won't get sick or ill. You won't get ill or injured at any time in your life. You won't experience any illnesses, any illnesses or injuries. I will talk about how life insurance is more than a death benefit. Sip my tea. You don't care how your final arrangements are paid for. You don't care. You're fine with GoFundMe. You're fine with GoFundMe or okay with your family, friends having to beg, borrow, and sell chicken dinners to properly funeralize you, right? You have no children and you plan to leave nothing behind. But those will be the top 5 reasons, right? Your life and health is of no value to anyone. You don't plan to die. You're going to be forever young. You will never get ill or injured at any time. You don't care how your final arrangements are taken care of. You just want to be a burden on your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brothers, whoever. It don't matter to you. And you're fine with GoFundMe. You're okay with your family having to sell chicken dinners and things like that. My father, I love him dearly. My father always tells me, he's like, Jonay, if people don't have things in place, don't pick up the phone. Eventually, the state will bury them, right? Eventually, the state will bury them. Is life insurance a scam? We're going to talk. If you don't move out my way, fix it now. Is life insurance a scam? We going to talk about. And I just, don't worry about it. I didn't say bold this whole thing, Jesus. Fix it. Double tap, get some hearts going if you are on my TikTok page. And I am going to go over and look at my YouTube channel. Been a while. All righty, let's get back into it. So those are the reasons why you should not get life insurance, right? Those are my those are my reasons why you should not get life insurance. Now let's talk briefly about the different types of life insurance. If you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Be sure to double tap, show some love, get some hearts going. If you're on TikTok, if you have comments, concerns, positively or negatively, about life insurance. Let's talk about it, right? So the different types of life insurance. The first type of life insurance that a lot of people are familiar with is term life insurance. Biggest things to know about this is it is temporary. It expires, right? It's temporary. It expires. For many of them, your rate or your premium is locked in for your term, right? I won't say for many, for some of them. Some of them, the premium goes up. All of the term policies that I offer are level term policies. So that means that the premium never increases, right? The premium never increases on the policies that I offer. Double tap. Thank you for those who have shown some love and got some hearts going. Feel free to comment or ask any questions you may have about life insurance. Share any stories, experiences you may have had, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the in between. I am here for it, right? So term life insurance is temporary. It expires. It will last anywhere from 10 to 30 years. I want to say there are a few companies that offer 35-year terms. Your term life insurance policy, as written the day that you got it, will not last you until you are 95. I know some people have been told that that is not true. That is not the case. Your policy will expire. Thank you for those who are showing some love and getting some hearts flowing. I'm sure we can get up to 100 hearts before 12:20 within like the next 3 minutes or so, right? So term life insurance is only going to last you anywhere between 10 to 30 years. It is temporary, it terminates, it expires. If you are told it will last you until you are 95, and I'm talking about your basic term life insurance policy, please understand that your premium will increase. Look at that. We are over 100 already, and it only took a minute. I appreciate you. Inky, is it Inky or Linky? I appreciate you. Based on your picture, you look beautiful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, right? So your premium is going to increase. The level term policies that we offer means if you were to get a 30-year term policy with myself, for that entire 30 years, your premium is going to be the same. What happens at the end of that 30 years? Simple. Your policy expires, right? It expires. You had it just in case. Just in case what? Just in case something happens to you. I'm going to share a personal story. A friend of mine, this was last September. I feel like it was May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, last September. I was outside. It was still nice outside, so I was grounding. Yes, so can you pull a loan out of your life insurance? Inky, I'm gonna answer your question. Hold tight, hold tight. I'm gonna answer your question after I share this quick story. Well, no, to answer your question briefly, yes, I'll go into detail after I tell this story. How about that? So, yes, you can pull a loan out of your permanent life insurance. I'm going to talk about permanent as well. So, to answer your question, yes, my friend called me. I was outside groundsing and I didn't answer. She texted me. She said it's important. Call me back. I called her back. She's a mother of 5 girls, a grandmother of like 12 grandchildren. Her youngest daughter passed away at age 28 years old, the day her son turned 4 months old, right? So when we talk about life insurance and term life insurance, it's something that we have just in case something happens. There was no expectation that she was going to bury any of her children, right? I'm a mom. I do not foresee myself burying my one son. However, we don't know what life is going to bring, right? So you can't foresee that. Term life insurance is great for that because you can get a lot of death benefit for a little. I'm about to help a mom of a 19-year-old get him $100,000 term life insurance policy for $14 a month, right? So it's super affordable. He doesn't have any children or anything like that at this time. But even this young mom at 28 years old, had she had a few $100,000 of life insurance, there's a reason why she did not. Her mom is a client of mine at the time. Her daughter did not qualify for this type of policy. It would have lessened the financial burden on my friend who is now raising her 3 grandchildren. Okay. So she is raising a 12-year-old, an 11, 7, and the baby will be 1 in 2 months. So he'll be 10 months tomorrow. The baby will be 10 months old. So life insurance is for if we get ill or injured, if we die too soon, if we live too long. I appreciate the love that you're showing, right? So that's term life insurance. There is also permanent life insurance. So Inky asks, could you borrow from or take a loan against your life insurance? You absolutely can take a loan against your permanent. But let me go back to the term life insurance and share another story. The ill or injured part, right? So I personally have over $1 million of term life insurance because life can happen. So one of our business partners, before he became our business partner, he was hired to build out our mentors website. He was hired to build out our mentors site. And had I thought about it, I would have put the caption on. He was hired to build out our mentors site, and then building out the site, sold himself on life insurance. Went home, told his wife that he got the life insurance policy. He also partnered in business with us because he figured if y'all are making money doing this, I want to make money too, right? So if you're open to some money making opportunities, feel free to DM me, comment, let me know. His wife, in her mind, this is another bill. You have created another bill. Her mindset shifted a little less than 2 years later when her 38-year-old husband, who's the breadwinner of their family of 6, her and their 4 children, had a stroke. Her mindset shifted when he experienced that stroke because they received a $212,000 payout from the life insurance company that they didn't have to pay back. Not a loan. This was their living benefit. Some life insurance companies offer a living benefit. Their video is actually on YouTube. Why is their last name escaping me right now? I can think of the husband's name. The wife's name is Kenya Frampton. Dustin and Kenya Frampton. There is a video on them about them. Themselves are being interviewed on YouTube discussing how their living benefit was. Inky, you said you're 29 with no life insurance. DM me, honey. DM me. There are things that are out there that are super affordable if you qualify, especially while you're young. But I would absolutely advise potentially getting something. But the first step is just a conversation. Feel free to DM me. My link is also in my bio where you can connect with me. Thank you, Andrew. Meet the Framptons on YouTube, right? So he has this stroke. They receive this money. The money doesn't take away from the fact that he had the stroke, but what it did do, it allowed them to not worry about bills. They're not worried about how they're going to pay bills, how they're going to make ends meet. She's not worried about having to go and get a job or anything right away. She's a stay-at-home mom. They didn't have to disrupt their lives for finances. Finances is one of the number one reasons why people end up in bankruptcy is medical debt. And it's also one of the main reasons why people end up in foreclosure. A lot of us only think about life insurance as far as death. And if we don't have children and things of that nature, we think we don't need life insurance. Dustin was 38 years old. He had a stroke. I know a 21-year-old that passed away from breast cancer. She was a breast cancer survivor. So she was diagnosed, she beat it, got through it, but then years down the line had complications. There are children, for those of you who have seen St. Jude commercials, there are children that battle illnesses and injuries, right? One of my youngest nephew, he didn't qualify for life insurance the day he was born, because the day that he was born, he was taken from my sister, airlifted to another hospital, and had multiple surgeries. He's alive and well now. This is not a sad story. My baby is going to be 24 this year, right? He'll be 24 this year. But there are children who develop complications and unfortunately have been diagnosed with cancer and things like that after they're born, that if they had a policy in place with living benefits, it could have made a difference. One of my business partners ended up encountering this family that needed, I wanted to say $80,000 for this brain surgery for their daughter. I don't remember the full story of how she met them, but she ended up meeting them. And one of the Bears players, Lord, his name is escaping me at this time, bald head gentleman. I don't even think he plays for the Bears anymore because this was a few years ago. He ended up getting involved and they took the whole family to Disney World and they were looking to raise this money that was needed for this young girl. And unfortunately, she ended up passing away. And one of the things that my business partner at that time knew was, had that family known about life insurance, but educated about life insurance and gotten life insurance for their daughter, even $100,000, they could have received potentially the $80,000 they needed to have that life-changing surgery for her, right? So when I educate people on life insurance, the thing is one day we will all no longer be here, but I also educate people on how life insurance can be used in life, right? If you're on my TikTok, thank you for showing love. Thank you for the hearts. Let's keep it going. Maybe we can get to 1,000 by 12:30. Now let me get into permanent life insurance because I do have a call at 1 o'clock. Permanent life insurance right now is designed to last us until we are between the ages of 100 to 120 years old, right? So people are looking for something that is not going to expire. It can be paid up. Some people pay it up in 7 years, 10 years, etc. You don't necessarily have to pay the policy your whole life, but this is depending on how old you are and how much money you have available to fund the policy. When it comes to permanent life insurance, I do not deal with variable life insurance, right? So the first type is whole life. Most people say, do you have term life insurance or whole life, right? Whole life is a type of permanent life insurance. Whole life policies, just to give a little information, pay out dividends. Some do come with those living benefits that I mentioned. So if someone has cancer, heart attack, stroke, they're in a car accident, things of that nature. Let me put living benefits up here with term too for those who are on my Zoom and who are on my YouTube that can see my screen, right? And there are other qualifying illnesses and injuries. Right. But whole life is the first type of permanent life insurance. There are some whole lives that do a 10 pay, they do a 20 pay, but most people ends up paying for these, unfortunately. I won't say unfortunately, their whole lives, right? So whole life is a type of permanent life insurance. Then you have universal life, right? Universal Life is going to offer a fixed interest rate. If there is interest that will be credited to the policy, that interest is going to be fixed. I don't even know where we are on the YouTube channel. Okay. That interest is going to be fixed if there is interest potentially credited, right? So what does that mean? I'm paying for life insurance. When I pay for life insurance, what I'm paying is covering my premium or my cost of insurance. I'm sorry. My premium is covering my cost of insurance. And then a portion of that premium is going into cash value, right? So when it comes to permanent life insurance, you have a death benefit and you have cash value, surrender value in the policy. That cash interest can be credited. Whether it's a whole life policy, there can be interest credited, but whole life policies also pay out dividends at the end of the year if there is something there to pay out. Universal life is another type. It's a fixed interest rate, but it does offer more flexibility than a whole life policy. You are going to get more flexibility, right? You are going to get more flexibility. Feel free if you have a question, drop a question. Show some love. Double tap that screen as many times as your finger can stand. I want to get to 1,000 hearts before this live ends within about the next 20 minutes. If you think life insurance is a scam, or if you have any questions about life insurance, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will answer those questions, right? So Universal Life is going to give you some flexibility. Also going to have those living benefits if you qualify. We qualify for life insurance and living benefits with our age and our health. If you are watching this right now and you're a mom, well, actually, I'll tailor my video tomorrow to mothers specifically uh, of young children and older children, and we'll have some conversations. And then there's Index Universal Life Insurance. Index Universal Life Insurance offers an interest rate. It's indexing, right? So it is mimicking, it mimics the stock market. Life insurance is not an investment. Life insurance is not an investment. Life insurance is a financial vehicle, a financial tool for those that want to protect their number one asset, which is themselves, and make sure if they die too soon, live too long, or get ill or injured, they and their families will be provided for. It's not an investment. Index Universal Life Insurance just simply happens to have also cash value where interest can be credited to that cash value, right? With all of these, with the cash value, individuals can access that cash through withdrawals or loans, okay? You can take a withdrawal or a loan based on the premiums that you put in. Money goes into the cash value, the premiums that you pay in. Let me choose my words better. Bulk of the premium covers the cost of insurance. Portion of the premium goes into that cash value, right? Goes into that cash value. That cash value, interest can be credited. Over time, that money grows and it can be accessed. When can cash be accessed? It depends on how the policy is structured and funded. There are some policies that allow access to the cash within the first 3 months. There are some policies where you have to wait 12 months. So it would be that 13-month But depending on how it's funded, on average, the average American that is funding a life insurance policy, it really doesn't make sense to potentially access it around year 5, between year 5 and year 10. Okay. Those withdrawals that you take, as long as you stay within the confines of the contract, will be tax-free, as long as what you are withdrawing is less than what you've personally contributed. Thanks to Internal Revenue Code 7702, money grows tax-free in life insurance policies. The best way to access the cash in your cash value of your permanent life insurance policy is through a loan, because borrowed money is tax-free. Borrowed money is tax-free. All borrowed money is tax-free. You're not being taxed on any money that you borrow. But Jamesia, there's an interest rate associated with it. There is an interest rate associated with it, depending on how long you've had your policy, how long it's been enforced. That loan could look like a wash loan. Okay? And I'm going to share a story, an example, personal story. Well, once upon a time, before I became a life insurance agent, I dated a gentleman in college who became a life insurance agent while we were still in college. At that time, he was working for Northwestern Mutual. They were told to contact their family, their friends, whoever they know. That man was getting numbers from here, there, and everywhere. I became his client. I had a whole life insurance policy with Northwestern Mutual that I got in 2001. I was 21 years old. Don't be sitting up here trying to figure out how old I am. Mind your business. Yeah. I was 21 years old at the time. The first time I borrowed cash was right before my 25th birthday. My son was born 1 month and 2 days before my 25th birthday, where I was working at. Thank you, Andrew, for showing some love. Where I was working at the time, I was working as a temp, so I didn't have any benefits. Needed money to stay afloat, to pay the mortgage and the bills at home, right? So I borrowed money from my whole life policy. That was a loan. There was interest associated with that loan. They would randomly send me information about potentially paying that money back. But the good thing is there is uninterrupted compound interest. So when I borrowed the money, it didn't come out of my cash value. It still stayed there. And interest was still credited. Now, what would have happened if well, nope, I'll keep on with the story. So that was 2005, right before my 25th birthday. Then in 2014, I purchased the 4-unit building. I went back to that life insurance policy, borrowed money for the down payment. Good thing about borrowed money from a life insurance policy, they don't check your credit. They don't ask whether or not you have a job. You have this life insurance policy. You've been paying this life insurance policy. You qualify because you own the policy. Only stipulation, if the money has matured and it's enough money there to borrow from your life insurance policy. I borrowed the money. I show proof to the lender that this money came from my life insurance policy. Although it's a loan, it does not count against my debt to income ratio. For those of you looking to purchase houses and real estate investors, things of that nature, go ahead and follow me. We about to have some real conversations when it comes to life insurance. I'll be going live and then sharing clips of these lives. Okay. But DM me. It goes down in the DMs, and my link is in my bio to connect with me to have a one-on-one consultation. Okay. So I borrow money for the down payment. Then a couple years later, sitting outside at my uncle's house, may he rest in heaven, in his backyard on Memorial Day, my dad, who paid for me to go to college in full cash to the University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, says he wants a Rolex for his birthday. And I go in the kitchen and I ask his lady friend, I'm like, is he serious? She like, yeah. I mean, he pulled up the watch and everything that he wanted, right? So I went right back to that life insurance policy, borrowed money for my father's Rolex. He got the Rolex. I didn't buy the whole Rolex, y'all, but I contributed to the Rolex fund. Okay. I contributed to my father's Rolex fund, and that was that. Then I meet an agent that convinced me it made more sense to buy term and invest the difference. If buy term and invest the difference is your philosophy, I'm with that. I offer term for term. If you are with some of the more well-known, popular companies that offer term life insurance, I can almost guarantee I can beat the premium. I can help you lower your premium. And also, you can qualify for living benefits with your age and your health. So you can actually get more for less than what you currently have, right? So I closed out this permanent life insurance policy that I borrowed from 3 times and I haven't paid them back, right? I borrowed when my son was born. I borrowed from it when I purchased my 4-unit building in 2014. And then I borrowed again for my father's Rolex fund. What do you think happened when I closed that policy? Right? Because I borrowed 3 times. There's interest associated with borrowing this money. The life insurance company sent me a check. What did they send me a check for? They sent me a check for the difference. What's in my cash value versus what I borrowed. They sent me a check. They didn't send me a bill. It didn't say pay up now. They sent me a check. When we're borrowing against our life insurance policies, we are borrowing one against our future death, and we're borrowing against the cash that's there, right? So let's say you have $10,000 of cash in your cash value, and you decide to borrow 5,000 of that 10. The company is loaning you 5,000, knowing that there is 10 in your cash value. So if you were to pass away, depending on how your policy is set up, the death benefit will pay out to your beneficiaries minus the money that you've borrowed. They won't get the cash. There is a way for your beneficiaries to get the death benefit and the cash. They ain't trying to hear you, sis. My mom just did that to go to Jamaica. Come on, mama. Listen, okay? So, yes, if you close the policy out, they are going to send you a check for the difference, what your cash value is worth at that time, minus what you borrowed. So if you close it, they're fine with that because they loaned you $5,000 with the understanding that you have $10,000 with them. It's like putting $10,000 in the bank and then going to borrow $5,000 from the bank. They are going to loan you the $5,000. Almost messed something up. They are going to loan you the $5,000 because you have $10,000 there. So even if you run away and disappear, they could just put a hold on the $5,000 that's in your account, right? This is how you can borrow money from the life insurance company. Again, you pass away, your beneficiary simply won't get. So if you borrow 5,000, your death benefit is 100,000, your beneficiary will get 95,000 because you didn't pay that 5,000 back. Makes total sense. It's the same thing with the home. I have a real estate. My license isn't active, but I was an active realtor for 5 years. But when you borrow, because to get money out of your home to access your equity, you have to borrow it. But now they're asking for your credit score, job history, debts and income, all of those things. Life insurance company doesn't care. The life insurance will, if there's money in the cash value that is accessible, you can access that money up to a certain amount. If you take out all of the cash that is in your cash value, you are surrendering the policy and you would no longer have it. If you decided you no longer wanted the life insurance policy and you never borrowed anything from the cash value, they're going to send you a check for the money that's in the cash value because it's your money. So use it in life. Somebody just commented their mama used money from their life insurance policy to go to Jamaica. Use the money in life. If I pass away and the cash value is still there, now we can't control when we're going to leave here, but don't just sit it there and don't use it. I leveraged mine for a 4-unit property. I leveraged mine to get an asset. But then I also leveraged it to contribute to my father's Rolex fund. I leveraged it to pay bills when I had my son because I didn't have maternity leave, didn't have any of that because I was working as a temp at the time. The company ended up bringing me back as a full-time employee. But yeah, so for me, no, life insurance is not a scam. The last story I'll share, which is very personal to me and near and dear to my heart, my mom got life insurance from her brother. Reality is my mother's younger brother, my uncle, he ain't never had a job that I know of, and he's almost 60 years old. My grandmother had life insurance on him and her other son, who weren't the most responsible of her children. My uncle had children around the same time I did. He waited late in life, okay? Actually, his son was 2 weeks older than my son. That's where this story is going. But my mother got life insurance on the boys because my mother is a life insurance agent and she believes in life insurance. So my mom got life insurance on them. It was never a thought in our mind that on February 28th of 2022, a month shy of my little cousin's 18th birthday, that he would die of a gunshot wound here in the city of Chicago. That's my first close relative that passed away to gun violence in the city of Chicago. Okay. And navigating that process as the life insurance agent, paying out a death benefit or getting a death benefit paid out for a 17-year-old was a process. One, the policy had not been enforced for 2 years. I've answered a lot of questions with these stories that I'm sharing. The policy had not been enforced for 2 years. So the life insurance company has to do an investigation. So we had to come up with the money for my little cousin's funeral, even though he had a life insurance policy. That investigation took over 6 months. Really took over 8 months. It almost took over a year. My mother rarely checks her mail. The death benefit ended up coming to her in the mail because my grandmother didn't want it. My grandmother was the beneficiary, My grandmother was still alive at that time. So my grandmother unfortunately buried one of her children and one of her grandchildren in her lifetime because she was on, fixed income, things of that nature. But we took care of all of the things. But my first and only death benefit payout since I've been a life insurance agent these last 7 years almost was for my 17-year-old first cousin. So when we say I don't have children, or we come up with these reasons of why life insurance is a need, and my mother was paying $25 a month, nothing crazy. $25 a month for him and his little brother. My son will be 21 this year in April. My little cousin would have been 21 on March 30th, right? Last story I'll share. Um, I have a little bit of intuition, won't get into all of that. But when I was 15 years old, one of my mother's friends was having a baby, a real close friend of my mom's. I would hang out with her. She was older than I was. She was like 19 or 20 at that time. So really she was babysitting me, but let me tell you what was hanging out. Okay. And I was in Switzerland. I went to Providence St. Mel. So I went to Switzerland through their summer opportunity of a lifetime program. Everything was paid for. And my mother told me that the baby was born, right? My mom told me that the baby was born and she had named the baby Jamesia. She did not even know Jamesia was my name, but she named the baby Jamesia. She spelled it a little different and she didn't know Jamesia was my name because if you are a family member or a close friend, they know me by my middle name, Jonay, right? But something told me that baby didn't make it. But when I came home from Switzerland, and I was in Switzerland for a month, so the baby was born towards the end of me being there. I'm like, Mom, what's going on with the baby? She's like, Jonay, the baby passed away at 7 days old. 7 days. That was the most emotional funeral I've ever been to. Baby's milk literally like curdled up in the baby's stomach. The baby did. The woman went on to have 4 or 5 other kids years later. Now, most life insurance companies, you can't apply and get coverage on a child until they're 14 days old. There are some that allow for coverage before the social security number comes. So with that being said, to wrap this up, because I have a 1 o'clock coming, thank you for all who show love with the hearts. If we can get some more hearts going, it ain't too much of an ask. I only need 240 more to get to 1,000. But if you are watching me live on TikTok or you are watching this video on YouTube, the replay, my link is in my bio. Comment, I comment back, DM me. You can reach out to me. I will drop my website link as well, but you can DM me, I DM back, you can comment, or you can hit the link in my bio and connect with me. I am licensed in Illinois, Indiana, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Maryland, uh, Arkansas, Texas, here, there, wherever, right? I'm licensed all around, but I'm based here in the Illinois area. But life can happen at any time. So what I was gonna say, because I had lost my train of thought, we help people get insured from age 0 to 89 years old. When we're talking about an 89-year-old, we are only talking about final expense, whole life. You looking to get something 10, 15,000 to put them in the ground. And depending on how much it is monthly, I may tell you just to save that money. Okay. I may tell you just to save that money, which just reminds me I need to make a phone call to someone. But I help individuals from age 0 to 89 that are looking to get coverage with options for life insurance, whether it's term or permanent. So be sure we at 827. Y'all, I'm from the west side of Chicago. I can be very professional. I'm very educated. I have multiple degrees, but I'm still a black girl from the west side of Chicago, and I love everything about being black. We are at 827. Only need 173 more. Y'all making me use my math to get to that 1,000 goal. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the aid and assist with the Frampton YouTube video. So, you all, as I close this live, I've shared a story of a young mom I know years ago that lost her 7-day-year-old. I know a friend of mine who buried her 28-year-old. And at the cemetery, after her daughter was lowered into the ground, we hugged, and she said, I never want to experience this again. And I told her, I hope and pray you never have to. She has 4 other daughters and 12 grandchildren. I shared my personal story, my first and only death benefit that has paid out since I've been an agent. Luckily, my clients have not passed away yet. But my first and only death benefit that has paid out, unfortunately, was my 17-year-old cousin who passed away from a gunshot wound. And then also shared the story of Dustin Frampton. His story is on video on YouTube. Him and his wife were interviewed by one of my mentors, Matt Sapala, because at 38 years old, he had a stroke and he received a living benefit check, right? So life insurance is not just a death benefit. Life insurance is for the living. And then I also shared how I borrowed from my life insurance policies to keep me afloat after I had my son and I was on maternity leave when I purchased my 4-unit building and to contribute to my father's Rolex fund. So those are the different ways that life insurance can be used in life. Life insurance is more than a death benefit. I am very clear and very passionate about educating individuals in our community on life insurance, whether you are a real estate investor, a home owner, there are life insurance options that are available for you. Whether you have $25 to your name, $25 million, or $250 million, trillions of dollars, there is a life insurance conversation that we can have for you. Your pockets are not too big or too small. You do need to make a minimum of $25,000 a year to qualify for most life insurance policies. We are at 922. It looked like we gonna get to that 1,000. Uh-oh. I done got to touching the screen, y'all. Don't know what I got going on. Looks like we will get to that 1,000. I have my 1 o'clock appointment. I am going to log off. Thank you for tuning in to this live. Thank you for showing some love on this live. We made it to 1,000. I don't know how to do all the hand claps and stuff like that, y'all. I'm a learn. I'm a learn. Andrew, I believe you are in the industry as well. I would love for everybody to get life insurance with me, but I am not for everybody. Reach out to somebody you know, like, and trust, and get some coverage. I am Jamesia Jonay. Thank y'all for tuning in. Have an amazing one. I didn't end it live, and I forgot to end this. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to contact me, reach out. Let's have a conversation. Let's get you insurance.